Welcome back to another week of Trin Talks. It's your girl, SD Trinity. As you can see here, we got five extra people today. It's just not me, and it's just not my co host, Jiggly's in part three. Okay? Well, actually, I just did
Hello.
math wrong. We got four. Okay? So, I just said we got Jiggly here in the house. Say good morning.
Good
Hi.
morning. Hi.
Afternoon, because daylight savings time.
Uh-huh. That's why I'm
But
still in my pajamas.
right. But I got some lovely people here with us. I have Dre here. Say what's up.
What's good, everybody?
AA, and then I got of course Miss Goku. Hi.
Hey everybody.
And I have of course Kai. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, thank you for having me.
No problem. And last but not least, we have Miss Bunny. Bun. Hi.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Buddy, my game, you.
I'm really excited about this. For a different reason. This is going to be us talking about mental health and us being mental health advocates and supporters and everything in between. Who needs support? We all do. So I hope you guys listen to this, really sit down and soak in what we are going to be discussing. And of course, afterwards, if you have questions, hit us up. Hit us in DMs, hit us in Discord if you're there already. Even on the YouTube comments, people watching on YouTube, comment below. We could have conversations there too. But I really want to just hop right into this and say I have a lot of questions when it comes to mental health. I know how I handle mine or how I manage stuff, but I want to hear from everybody else here. So, who's going to get us started in bettering ourselves? Anybody? Okay, I'm going to go with Goku because, of course, she's going to teach me everything. She's my teacher. So, Goku, go ahead. Let us know what we got going on just to get the ball rolling.
Okay, the first thing that I would like to say is that Girls Can't Geek as a whole, and especially within the Discord community, we are all advocates for better mental health. And we are all, I'm appreciative of the space that we've created where people can freely express if they are stressed, if they've had a bad day, if things have changed for them, if they've been triggered. Girls Can't Geek, the community always, we always ask each other, if someone says, I had a bad day, but I don't want to talk about it. Somebody will say, are you sure? What's really going on? And we have actually a lot of people within our community that have, they have mental health. They have been diagnosed with different mental health. I don't like to say disorders, but they have been diagnosed with different things that are in the spectrum of mental health. I don't even like to say spectrum. I don't like to put labels on it because everybody is different based upon what they have in their environment and their triggers. But we all know that, especially a lot of us being people, we're not all exclusively people of color, but majority of us are. With that too, we also talk about stigmas within our own different communities. And Girls Can't Geek, if you want a space to be in where you can be accepted no matter what, but also not be outcast and considered a pariah because of the things that you like, this is a place for you. And I love everybody, but two people that I really love, I really love and I communicate on and off the Discord group, they were open to share and shed light on the things that they go through. I said Goku. On the things that they go through.
Hey, Goku probably has some mental issues too, and we just don't talk about it because he's always fighting.
We could talk about that too. We didn't bring that up, but
just saying.
I have a lot to say about that. So.
But we also talk about a lot of, before I go into the people that I want to shed light on, we also talk about a lot of celebrity culture and how that affects us and how people that, when you become a celebrity, even if you don't want to become a role model, you're automatically a role model. But we're noticing also just a change in the world, in the universe, where people that, you know, the stigma of being a celebrity is catching up to everybody. And it's like, they're not human anymore. So when people are coming out with the issues that they have gone through or the things that they struggle with, it's like, whoa. But since they are still a celebrity, for instance, we watched the Meghan. I did not watch, but it was shown the Meghan Markle interview, and she was talking about how it really affected her mental health and how it was hard for her, how she was suffering, but you know, there was nothing for her to do. We also are, you know, we're talking about Brittany Spears and even other celebrities like Kanye and things like that. Just how them as celebrities and what they're going through, and how we want to, you know, provide perspective on that rather than alienate them because of those things, which you see in the mass. That's what they do. But two people that I really care about are, you know, they volunteer to share what they have and what they go through, and that is Bunny and Kai.
Yay!
Would you like to, you know, say what you, I don't know if I should say for you or what you say.
I'll say it.
Okay.
So in hi. So in 2012, I was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, which is the combination of schizophrenia and bipolar. And since then, it's been kind of hard, ups and downs, but in life, you really strive to get better, and that's how I'm here where I am today. So I never gave up. Never give up.
Good. And then
Can I ask you? Oh, go ahead, Bunny.
Sorry.
I have some questions, Kai.
No, I mean we can ask Kai if Kai is comfortable with the questions. I'd rather ask Kai whatever you wanted to ask really quick. I can always. It's not like I'm gonna forget what I have to say, right? I don't want you to forget the question. That's what I feel like is so important.
If I ask you a question, Kai, and you're not comfortable with it, please let me know. Okay. But you said that things changed for you in 2012 when you were diagnosed. Did you have any like pre-notions that you were struggling with something? And do you think that the diagnosis is what changed, or just understanding that there was now a face to or a name to what you were dealing with?
Well, I've been dealing with mental health issues since a very young age. I was depressed in the 4th grade. It reoccurred in high school when I started dating and, you know, that type of stuff. But before I was actually diagnosed, the world seemed to change. Stuff didn't feel the same. And like it kind of felt surreal, like just going through your days. And back then I was working, I was going to school, I was paying for school, I was doing everything myself. And on the weekends, I threw parties with my friends. And honestly, I was living a very unhealthy lifestyle. I was smoking, drinking, wasn't eating healthy, wasn't sleeping properly, then getting up and going to work and school the next day. So I'm sorry, what was it? I'm sorry. What was the
I really, you kind of explained a little bit, but I just wanted to know, like, did you know that you were dealing with something before the diagnosis, and then like how did that kind of like how did you take steps afterwards?
Oh, well, I kind of always felt I was schizophrenic ever since I was a kid, because I always gravitated towards psychology. And when I would read these things, I would see it like I have that, I go through that. But you can't really diagnose something until a doctor does it. So once that happened, it was like a huge relief. I had to slow everything down. It was in a way, I was going too fast for my own good. And that whole thing said, slow down, take your time, let's get things back into order. And it takes time to get everything back into order, but it's I hate the cliche, but time heals everything. So
thank you for sharing.
no problem.
Yeah, definitely learned a little bit more about you. And of course, Bunny also has some things too. And Bunny, would you like to explain what you have, they first
Yeah.
time here that never don't know.
For those that, yeah, I'm always glad to share my experience. There's always like this tiptoeing, walking on eggshells of sort. I promote a different type of mental health awareness. I put those quotations up because for me, it's more about sharing an experience. I like for people to stay away from using words like, speak or say. It's really just shared experience. It's a better way to embrace what it is that it is to share space with someone who experiences things on a different spectrum. And it's interesting enough that, when I was diagnosed, to answer what Jig, I'll mention what my diagnosis is in correlation with what Jig's questions were for Kai. I was actually misdiagnosed with BD before I was diagnosed with BPD. Like Kai was mentioning earlier, you have to be diagnosed by a doctor. For all the symptoms and treatments in the world that there are, a diagnosis is just that. It is a diagnosis by a doctor. So, what does this imply? My disorder it was misdiagnosed bipolar disorder for a borderline personality disorder diagnosis by a doctor. There's so many subtypes of BPD, of borderline personality disorder, but at the doctor level, that is actually merited and certified by the DSM. It is just borderline personality disorder. And the way that my life changed, Jiggly, and everybody else, the year that I was finally diagnosed properly with borderline personality disorder, my life changed tremendously. I was able to start I was able to zoom out and take a look at all of the symptoms and the subtypes and map everything out for treatment that works for me. Whereas before I was misdiagnosed, before everything changed and I had a map, I was using somebody else's map. I was going based off of bipolar disorder. And BD is very different from BPD. I respect anybody with bipolar disorder, anybody that's misdiagnosed. It's very easy to be misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder, but it gives you all of those looks when you're misdiagnosed. That's what we're looking at in media. Mm-hmm. We're looking at people who are misdiagnosed, taking the wrong types of treatment, if they even can afford treatment. It's very expensive to get a misdiagnosis and then to have your world change finally when you get the right diagnosis. But then what does that mean? Now you're changing the way that you're budgeting your treatment, if you can even treat at all. So my hats go off to people, whether they have no means or they have, a lot of means financially to get themselves together. It's very difficult, it's constant, particularly for, what you were mentioning, Goku's god cousin. There's a lot of people in the media that we discuss on our Discord that instead of picking them apart as celebrities, it's very important to recognize that for a long time, this was something that wasn't allowed to be talked about at all. The fact that I can even say I was misdiagnosed for so long and unable to, even though I'm college educated, even though I'm well spoken or well groomed or anything, unable to hold a conventional marginalized job, and then never really being too qualified for something that's outside of, what the marginalized job is. It's just there's so many symptoms that come within the scope of having mental health struggles, that the experience that I can share would be very helpful in something like the Discord community we have, or at large. Dre, Jiggly, you guys were sharing stuff with us earlier that we discussed on the Discord. I don't know if you were there, Trin.
Like, I thank you and Kai for sharing, because what I'm hearing is that once you guys understood what you were dealing with, you were able to access the tools that were necessary to help yourself and to make yourself better. And you brought up the Discord, and people in the media and celebrities dealing with mental health. And we watched the Meghan Markle interview in the
Like a
Discord.
family.
Yeah, because we do things like a family in the Discord. Um, and mental health is one of the things that our family does, right? So watching this episode, this interview, and seeing how she was denied access to help was, really heartbreaking. And for me, like, it upset me the most because she reached out, right? It's already, difficult for people to, to say I need help about anything, but especially about mental health because of how it's stigmatized.
Yes.
And it's something different for brown communities, but overall mental health is stigmatized. So she got the courage to go and say I need help, and then to hear that they told her, we see you, we understand you need help, but we're not going to allow you to get help because of how it looks, because of the optics. It highlights, first of all, the fact that we have way more work to do as a society in acknowledging and accepting and embracing a healthy mental state.
Exactly.
But then also, like, I'm just glad that they left. I'm glad that they left. I'm glad that they got out. And I'm glad that, history didn't repeat itself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
And go ahead, Goku.
What Jig was touching on, it made me think of another question for Bunny and Kai. And basically, what, just piggybacking off of her, once you understood what you were diagnosed with, Jiggly brought something about being stigmatized within our communities. If you're in a space to share, I have a question about are you in a place where your family supports you, or they try to understand, or is it the total opposite where they alienate you, or they kind of gaslight what you have because they have a conventional base note glimpse of what it is? How do you like how does I guess my question is do you feel supported in your community, like in your home life, in your culture, or do you feel like you constantly have to fight and explain, like, what is that? How do you get through fighting a stigma, and do you have support, I guess?
Well, I'd like to say, yes, I was fortunate enough to have support from my parents. But also with that being said, me and my father always didn't get along. And a lot of the situations could have been prevented between us two because in certain aspects, he said the illness was my problem, not necessarily his problem. And in a way that kind of made me feel not wanted because I can't go to you with my problem when it's not literally my problem, it's our problem since we're all in the same house together. And it took time for him to realize that. And I'm just thankful he really saw that. But yes, yes, I was fortunate because a lot of people don't have support. And I was fortunate to have some of the friends that I had. So
I think that's the most important thing, is that to try to find that support within your family, because not a lot of people get it. And in certain cases, especially in like immediate family that we know, they'll hide behind something else and try to blame your mental health on something else, i.e. religion, which is another strong topic that a lot of us are very scared to talk about. Because people feel like, okay, if we talk about that, then, we're going to go to hell. No, we need to address this shit. Seriously. Excuse my language.
No,
I think
you good.
I think with
We're
that,
being real.
I think what that problem is, if I cut anyone off, I apologize. The issue with that is a lot of families, especially Southern and Caribbean families, hide behind the Bible to fix a lot of problems. And it's not, I won't say it's completely fair for the person asking for help, because you don't want to have to go to your parents and say, hey, look, I'm suffering from this. And then automatically you're told, well, pray it away. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. A friend of mine is still in the hospital because he was going through mental health issues, and he was trying to, he was trying to take himself away. And the first thing out of his family was, out of his own mother's mouth, was, well, if you had gone to church more, you wouldn't be going through this.
Yeah, and that's not right. And Bunny, we'll definitely get to you in a second. If you have that support system and stuff, but you brought up a very big issue in the community. I could probably tell you off of my white friends that have mental disabilities or something, and their parents are like, okay, let's try to get you a doctor. Let's try to get you a therapist. Let's try to get you help. But in the situation for, let's say, myself, it's the same thing. Like, oh, well, you're just crazy, or you should have went to church more, or go read this passage, which is, and if you guys are religious out there, by all means, do what you do, enjoy what you do. I'm not judging you, but you can do church, I guess, or your religion and still go get help without getting judged by technically your religion and the people that associate with that. And if you can think about it, and I want everybody to think about this for like a minute. Think about your family members and like, oh, that's just crazy uncle, whoever. Oh, that's just the auntie that's always, it's always crazy. You're crazy. They're loony. They're out there. Ignore them. And they don't ever try to get to the bottom of like, did you ask maybe why they're crazy? There's been times I've been like, why don't we talk about this person, or what's wrong with them? Oh, they're just crazy.
They're just a little funny. They're just a little off.
Yeah. And then you're just like, especially being younger, you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's just what it is. But then when you hear it coming to you, you're like, okay, that person probably has some issues and still does have issues if they're still around. How will they perceive me? Because I grew up seeing how they perceive my aunt, my uncle, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, you know what I mean? It's just like a really good question to ask. Like you said, do you have that family support, or at least some sort of what you can consider family? You might not even have actually blood related family, but it could be like all of us here. Y'all are my family. I care about each and every one of you here, each one of you in the Discord, whether I talk to you all the time or not. You guys are on my mind. But it's like, do you have support? So I do want to bring it back to Bunny. Do you have the family support or the super close friendship that you can consider family, or whatever it may be?
To answer that question, I could say that yes, I do feel like I have the support that I don't expect too much from my family. In terms of support when it comes to that, because again, there's a lot of you should go to church more going on this side. There's a lot of, you should, play the marginalized role and just settle down and get a good husband type. But there's a lot of Bible thumping and associated attributes, coming from my neck of the woods, to be transparent. But just to piggyback off of what Dre had mentioned to you, and what Kairu had answered earlier, I didn't have the luxury of really having the mother-father support in-house. My parents, I left home very early. There was a lot of religion that made sure that there really wasn't that kind of welcoming vibe at the house for me. Religion, much like what Jiggly mentioned, Meghan Markle did, at a very young age, religion didn't cut it for me in terms of Christianity after pseudo-Catholicism. You know, I was very skilled in religion, but I did not have the belief in religion, so to speak, in that Christianity and all of that. And so growing up, I was very vocal about that. I did not get that support, particularly from the religious attributes of my mother and my mother's family. And so at a young age, because of religion, I no longer had what Kyra mentioned, you know, the resolve, the reward for, you know, so much back and forth with his parents about, you know, getting support from them. I didn't have any support from my parents from a very young age. I left home. I was relying more on my intuition than any type of religion sense and all of that. And through the intuition and my experience with that, what I will share is I do get support from my family and from others, like in the Discord community for us, in terms of making sure that I heal. Because I cannot help a sinking ship. And so now my parents are very supportive of me. Now my family is very supportive because they can't, I worked through healing myself through all the subtypes of my symptoms, you know, from the bottom to the top to get to a place where I now have found a way to unlock my BPD and help my community because of it. It no longer is a mental illness that I have. I manage my mental illness in such a way that I am actually able to give back to my community instead of take away from it. I actually have the support that my community would require because I was able to work through that in my experience.
Right,
You know?
right. I want to say again, thank you, Bunny. Thank you, Kai, for opening up on that subject. You guys don't have to, by the way. If you're like, I'm good, let me know. No hard feelings. You know, it's all still a building and learning for everybody. And I guess I did have like a quick question for both of you guys. And we'll start with Kai again. I notice for myself, I do this a lot and I'm trying really hard not to. But when you say, hey, I'm going through this, or I don't want to say suffering, but this is what's going on in my life. This is what I have. My first instinct is to be like, how can I help? But like, I might not have the tools to help you. So I could be like, hey, let's try this, try this. And it is coming from a good place in my heart, but it's not producive or conductive for you to be better at yourself. And then I find myself, I'm like, ooh, maybe I'm diving too deep into their lives to try to fix them. And then it's just like, I'm not helping at all. So I always wondered, like, from your guys' perspective, how would you like to be, I guess, approached? Or if you do say something like, hey, like you are calling out for help, or just an ear, how would you want to be approached? And of course, everybody's different on this, so there's no wrong answer. If you're like, hey, I'm going through it, I just wanted to verbally say that, fine. I don't want to hear nothing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be like, okay, let me know if you do want to talk later, but I just want to know your guys' like side.
Kai, you go first.
Yeah.
Well, how I kind of get through it is by setting boundaries, healthy boundaries for people. I always appreciate if someone says hello to me, someone just is willing to talk to me. Sleep also helps. Eating correctly, exercising. Is just trying to live a better, more healthier lifestyle for yourself. That's what I try to do.
Okay, awesome. And like you said, just saying hi helps out a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't know, like you said, you got diagnosed and it wasn't that long ago if you think about it, but just that hello means a lot to a lot of people, especially right now with COVID. We aren't near each other, you know. So thank you for that. And then yes, Jake?
I would just like to point out that saying hi, saying hello, and being kind to people is free.
Yes.
It costs free 99, you guys. Everybody can do it. We all got cell phones, laptops, whatever it may be. Get you a carrier pigeon, write a little note, say hello, send it off. We'll get it. It shows that at least that person was on your mind at the time. Excuse me. But so yeah, buddy. So how would you like to? Because I notice I do it with you a lot, buddy. I'm like, you good? Need help? What can I do for you? So like,
I feel like now with technology, there's so much. It's amazing because even with PSN, you have so many unique and interactive ways now, where I feel it hasn't really quite been unlocked the potential that technology and gaming has in being able to bring people together and bring more awareness to mental health, more support, and possibly treatment for mental health via, Discord particularly. There's so much more interaction that you have, the ability to share links, to share high five, to just really do the things that I feel like are the details people forget about when you want to reach out to answer your question. If there's something that you want to do to quote unquote, I always have to put the help. Really, it's just, if you feel the need, remind them with affirmation. Let them know why they shine. Don't ask. There's no question. It's still there. My BPD's not going nowhere. Yes, I'm fine. No, I'm not. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm lying. No matter fucking what. To join Dre in the curse train. The subtypes of my disorder are not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And so I'd rather you just talk to me about what's not going anywhere. Give me words of affirmation, because I don't want to talk about what's different today. Like, I'm good. I know what's different today.
Right.
Let's just keep moving forward and be present and move forward. Like, just words of affirmation is the best thing you can do. I can give you examples of them. Like when Trin hits me up, like, oh yeah, you the baddest, or, I'll get a really cool message from Jig where she's just like, hey, this is that fire, you lit, just a lot of, quote unquote cliche, yes, but you'd be surprised at how much affirming someone's greatness and empowering them with words of affirmation really can help way more than a, hey, how you doing, what can I do to help today?
Right. Thank you. And I am very happy that at least, when I'm like, you're doing amazing, sweetie, that it really is helping. And that goes for everybody. Everybody here, everybody in Discord. I be peeping, like, I'm not typing active on Discord, but I'm watching. Like, I'm like, okay, they're having a good day or they're having a bad day. And sometimes I'll just let you guys talk, because I'm like, they're already asking what I want to know, or you're already explaining how you're going through your day already. And I wish that we could have that for everybody worldwide. And a lot of times we see it now. We said, in the Black community, amongst ourselves, but even in the celebrity world, Hollywood, you would think that they would have that support. But when you look at it, they don't. So like we said, Meghan Markle, part of a royal family, not getting the help. The Brittany Spears, Free Britney documentary just came out not that long ago. She's going through a whole thing. And
where's that documentary?
What's happening with Britney? Because I
haven't watched that.
Yes, let's get into it.
What's that? I didn't see that shit.
It's a documentary going back to her 2007, 2008 mental breakdown, or what they like to call it, a mental breakdown.
The umbrella meme. Trend,
yes. the shaved head, umbrella hitting.
Leave her alone. Leave Britney alone.
And I felt him saying that. It's true. Like, something is wrong. Why are we attacking her?
It's almost like they're not allowed to be like humans.
Oh my!
Can I something?
At the time,
go ahead.
It was. Sorry.
It's okay. Just be like, when you're in your hot years as a celebrity. I'm saying this like I was a celebrity. I'm not, but the amount of light that is shed on your life, the things that you want to be personal and private that can no longer be because you're under that scope, that spectrum of being someone who is famous, and maybe you're wealthy, maybe you're not. That's another thing people don't know about. But when you're under that scope and you're constantly being edited and cut into pieces of a image that society wants you to be at the height of your career, constantly and consistently, and you having flaws is weird because people aren't able to dissociate themselves from celebrity culture, but they want it to constantly be a part of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so stressful. And I think about how much fun, like how much, not fun, but like how much people have made a mockery of her because they're not humanizing her. And then it's just so much. But it's just like celebrities are constantly being cut. You know, you are ugly, you look like this, someone's pregnant, you are fat, you are, you know, like you're with child, you know, like you didn't have makeup on, you had bags under your eyes. Some celebrities only they live on naps, you know what I'm saying, when touring. Like they're constantly in the studio, they have a deadline to meet, they have meetings, they, you know, something messed up with their contract, they're trying to figure out how they're going to get this money to pay some taxes, which is, you know, people don't think about all these things. I am not a celebrity.
They don't
but
think
like,
about the work.
yeah,
They think about the fun parts, the parts that, you know, are produced for us as consumers.
Yeah.
But people don't think about the work, the actual like day in, day out
work.
Getting it done. Yeah.
Did they show that in the documentary? Did they show like the guapola? Who's seen this documentary?
I have not.
I need to see.
just
Can we
now
watch
aware of
this
it.
on Watch Party?
Yes.
We can watch it tonight.
Today. Yes, we could.
We can. We definitely
We're gonna
can.
watch it and make it a part 2, babe.
I've been watching clips of it. I haven't gotten a chance to really sit down and
So
watch
what you
it.
saw in the clips? I need answers. And
It
what
was
is this free Britney situation? Dre was talking about it. We need to get into this.
Yeah.
This seems like a 2-part episode.
The free
he's got all the answers.
I said the free Britney narrative is just having her freedom back, having her individualism back. Because like I said, her father is in control or was in control. I think Trinity had said that, you know, we think that's over. But the fact that he had control over her estate and all her decision making, it was kind of like you taking away her basic human rights.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially now when you're healing yourself, when you're in a point where you feel that you could make the decision on your own, you have one person telling you no. Mm-hmm. That's like someone telling you, hey, I want to tie my shoe. Don't tie your shoe.
It's a little difficult. With my experience, family that steps in, right, to help you when I was misdiagnosed. I had family that was like very, you know, and then when I finally made the strong decision to like counter my misdiagnosis, you know, I had family members that were just like, oh, the stigma, like what you guys were mentioning, was so it affected my family in a way where they did have a difference of opinion. Their perception of me was a little bit different. I could note that. But when I took steps in my experience to heal and start from the bottom to the top, you know, and I found out I didn't have bipolar disorder. I wasn't bipolar. Deciding to take the steps to heal and finally healing came with a completely different stigma attached to it, because then people who thought that they were supposed to be my training wheels of sorts, my braces, my crutches of sorts, I didn't need them anymore. And then that was a little bit of a problem, because I didn't need a nanny as much anymore for my kid. I was totally able to multitask and do the most. Part of healing surprises people because when you have what the oppressor wants you to believe is a disorder, and you start healing from it from the bottom to the top, and you can chime in, Kyru, let me know. When you start to heal from the bottom to the top, your disorder no longer becomes a hindrance. It actually gives you superpowers because you're able to train yourself to manage your triggers and be not just a person who's healed from disorder, but you're also empowering yourself enough to give back to your community. People see you differently. They don't want to see you like that. And like, they still want to see you as somebody who needs a crutch. They still want to see you as somebody who is dependent on them. It is very scary for the healed person of, whatever subtype of my disorder it is, or whatever, subtype of the disorder that Kyru has. It's very difficult for our family members to come to grips with when we do heal. Because then you got to look at them and say to them, if I didn't know any better, I would think you're tight that I healed and I'm doing better. Good thing I know better. Because if I didn't know better, I would think you'd be mad that I elevated. And, when you have people like Brittany Spears' dad, who stepped in at a time where she had her umbrella meme, moment, shaved head moment. Maybe he stepped in and he just doesn't benefit as much from her being independent. Maybe for whatever reason, being in charge of her estate was a crutch that she needed for him to do. And now, because she is healed from the bottom to the top, because there's no doubt she was going through real nigga shit. But I also have absolutely no doubt that she is able to heal. Right. I don't know what it's like to be Britney Spears, but I can only imagine that, it's possible. If you're as strong as it takes to be Britney Spears, you're strong enough to heal from whatever 2007 memes were all about with umbrellas and shaved heads, So what I can say is, I don't know, Kyru, do you have experience? I know my family, it was a little tough for them because a lot of people benefited from me needing them.
Well, my mom was always a loving, caring person, so it was easy. Same thing with my brothers and my sisters. The only thing was me and my father, because one, we're so much alike. He's a fire sign, just like I'm a fire sign. I'm an Aries, he's a Leo. So it's just that alpha mentality of just butting heads. That was the only real issue between us. And once I left, it kind of became a better thing. Once I was on my own.
That's good. I think with that sort of situation, I remember you said that he told you that it was more of your problem than it was his problem. That's the part where that does hurt you. But at the same time, I'm not going to say it makes you stronger, but it makes you aware of the fact that, all right, I want you to help me with this, but at the same time, it's self-healing.
Yes.
So you take that time to self-heal yourself. And then when you come back to him and be like, I understand it wasn't your problem and it was my problem, but now I healed from that. So that were you able to forgive him for saying that?
Yes.
Later on, as part of your self-healing?
Yes. Like for the longest, my father never said I love you to anybody. It was just something that he would just not say back. It's like Han Solo in Star Wars. He will say, I know. And you know what I mean?
It was an avoidance.
Yeah. So, but now he says it all the time. So it feels good, to finally get that.
Oh, that's good. You even got to have to look at that where hate to get off, well, not off topic, get off topic, but it's like you look at mental health and then you look at all the shows and the games that we play. And it's like, wow. So did Kylo Ren have a whole lot of issues with his father not saying I love you? And then he found it in Luke, but then Luke was on some, I'm going to kill you because you a little stronger than me.
There's a lot going on.
I never even thought about it like that.
A lot to unpack.
I thought, I'm watching The Force Awakens the other day and I'm like, how did Ben turn out the way he is? And then when you watch The Last Jedi, it kind of explains that, hey, so Han and Leia allowed him to go train with Luke. Luke sent something to him like, okay, you're a danger. So he probably went to his uncle for that kind of love and support by him being trained to be a Jedi that maybe he wasn't getting at home, where everyone was, okay, Leia trained as a Jedi and Han was a pilot, but Han being this, this pseudo, I call him an introverted extrovert, because he was Mr. Adventures, but he just didn't like show a lot of emotion.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't show a lot of emotion toward Leia or probably toward his son, because he wanted to be this absolute badass. And especially in Force Awakens, he was away from his wife and his kid doing a whole lot of everything. So that actually plays a part in why Kylo Ren turned to the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
So it does play a part. Oh, we are packing a
So
lot.
what you're saying is I should go and watch the entire series again to find the thread, because that always happens with Star Wars.
You should always
you can
find
always
it.
watch
Yes,
it and
always.
find new stuff. Always find
Always.
new theories. Always find new threads.
Watch
But
party vibes.
I wanna yes, watch party, because that's where we do these things.
Mhm.
But I want to kind of rewind, and you said something about talking about games, Dre, and this is a space where we game and we watch anime and we do things, and not saying that all of us are, but sometimes those things are coping mechanisms. A part of mental health is managing your mental health, right? Um, and how we understand and navigate through our triggers. When you talked about games, like I'm not a heavy gamer, guys. I actually just started streaming on Twitch, so go follow me on Twitch. It's Jiggly Senpai 3. But I do like old school games, and Super Mario Brothers 3 is a very, very special game to me. It was something that was a fun thing from my childhood that reminded me of the comfort and support that I had in my childhood. And I say that from an internal family love perspective, because
Got
we,
that
we
on
did
here.
go through some things, and I do need therapy about some things that happened in my childhood, but that's just because it was turbulent, not because my family didn't have love. There was just a lot of shit that happened. But anyway, Super Mario Brothers 3 was a game that I turned to at a really, really hard time in my adult life, where I was dealing with something, and the only thing that kept my brain from falling apart was to zone out of what was happening in front of me and just go play my game. All I wanted to do was just go play. And I played that game from level 1 all the way through to level 8, something I had never done before. And sometimes I did things like not use the whistle just so I could make it take longer. Like, I played that whole game, but it was, for me at that time, it was an escape. Sometimes video games are fun and you just, but even then, if you're just going to blow off steam from work, like you're escaping from what has happened, you're letting it go in whatever way. Sometimes for me, it's yoga, and sometimes for me, I'm just gonna go crash a bunch of bars in Tetris. Like, so what things do you guys do to manage your mental health?
Like, to piggyback on what you just said, Tetris was my biggest coping mechanism as a kid. It was a very big coping mechanism, because I wanted to ask you, like, whenever you played Mario Brothers, was it at a point where you felt more stressed out?
No. It did two things. So number one, it connected me back to some really great feelings, because that game represents a really happy moment in my life, in my childhood. So playing it at a hard time in my adulthood connected me back to something that was comfort, right? But then also it's just fun. Like, it's something fun to do. Like, the game's not that hard. It's not very mentally complex. I don't have to think a lot. So I can just kind of release, right? That for me was good for me. So that's why I played that one.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
like I said, because like Tetris, to me, at some point, even when I was a young kid, Tetris, like, if I heard if I was doing bad in school or everything, my mother knew how to get to me. She'd take the Game Boy away, and I'm like, because she knew Tetris was a game that I always played.
Mm-hmm.
So what Tetris was like, is like you said, it's a simple block game, but in my eyes, it was like this, fitting everything in a puzzle where everything is perfect. So it was almost like a coping mechanism for OCD. So when everything explodes and goes away, it's like, okay, I can start rebuilding all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Because every other game that I was playing, okay, frustrated the hell out of me because it was like, okay, you suck, I hate you. And this is coming around the whole the video disc era, where now you got Saturn, you have PlayStation, you have 3DO, you have all these CD-based game systems coming out, and then that's when I started noticing. I was like, okay, I'm still gonna play my Game Boy if no one else does it. So
Now you have to try Tetris Effect on PSVR. If you have that connection, one of the games that I play to manage my moods is Tetris on the 5. If you play Tetris Effect, it's whole
on
different
PC
experience. Yeah, and on PC, yeah. It's
oh,
very interactive. It's soothing, but it's challenging as well. It's a very interactive experience. Based off of what you're sharing with us with your experience in managing from a very young age, I would say I suggest that you get either the PC or PSVR set for Tetris Effect. It's so soothing.
the Game Boy still works. Up to this day, it still works. So I'm not gonna get rid of it.
But it's a different vibe. No, don't get rid of it. We're suggesting it. If the Game Boy works, that's great. But I would totally suggest
have a backup
to try. Have a
No.
supplemental. Have a supplemental.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
It's just an additive. It's a different experience. I'm just gonna leave it there. It's a different.
It's very different.
Grew up
with
the
Game
Boy.
I
grew up with a Game Boy, but I just feel like the experiences definitely. It's far out. It's pretty wholesome.
Yeah, to go back with that, I know with a lot of things, what a lot of people coping mechanism is actually physical as well, because you would think that, okay, with all the advance in technology, people are like, okay, I'm thinking you would have had a Game Boy Advance by now. People, this actually goes with hoarders as well, because collecting everything is a coping mechanism for a lot of things. So me holding on to this Game Boy for so many years is more like a trigger to come back into my world where I'm fine, I'm safe, where I'm holding this Game Boy and I can remember to a point where everything was just as calm as it could be, because it's not a change. And I noticed that with some people. I noticed that with a lot of people, especially because you will see people that they'll have a whole cell phone. If they want to listen to music, they'll go dig up their old iPod, and listen to it, because it's something that they're using that as a physical reference to how they used to feel when they were listening to music. So it's more like a physical coping mechanism where they say, okay, I want to feel that. You'll read an old book that you've had for so long. Like instead of it being a paperback, it's a hardcover.
It's that connection to those positive feelings that you have associated with that item or with those items or with that mind frame.
Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people. If a friend of mine, she is a very too big fan of the Harry Potter series. So rather than she'll stream it, she'll go right to her closet, she'll get all the DVDs and she'll watch it like that. And I'm like, well, you have Blu-ray, you have stream. She was like, she's like, I'm more comfortable this way, because this is something that she's used to. It's the mechanics of it where she's like, put the DVD in, press play, and then that's it.
Right.
Oh, cool. You raised your hand. You look like you had something to say.
Yeah, I was saying. Goku, I was like, I saw you over there. You're like, excuse me.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. The thing is, I was like, I think I might have forgot. once I yawned, I was like, ooh. I think that where I was gonna go with that. Okay, here we go. I came back. Okay. One thing I love about like comic books and anime and video games is that there's always like, you know, how we have they appreciate the small nostalgic nuances that we have from the past, you know. And so I see nothing wrong with your friend, because I get clowned for what I like to have my cartridges. You know, they're like, why don't you just digitally download? I'm like, no, I want to hold it. And I like that new opening feeling, and that feeling of it. I am not going to download it. I know it's what you young people like. It's people older than me, but but I like this. And also I really connect to Tetris because I play too. That's one of my games that I play. But I like how this culture, nerd culture, geek culture, however you want to say, we respect small nuances and we respect nostalgia because we appreciate the growth of it all. And I also wanted to touch on comic books a little bit. How some of my friends read, like, they read their Shonen Jump, well, comics and manga, like they read their Shonen Jump on their phone. That's not my thing. I like to hold it and feel it. I have a little comic book collection. I like to feel the pages. I love going into a comic book store and I'll just be in there for hours, just like looking at stuff. Can't really touch things like that anymore, but looking at things and like pulling it out of the film and putting it back and putting it in my box, all my stuff. And I also, not to move the conversation, but I also said a lot of people in comic books, I saw an identity within myself. I don't have dissociative identity disorder, or DID. It used to be called multiple personality disorders, but there's a superheroine, and the name of the comic book is Omni. And her superpower, I know there are other superheroes like this. She has different personalities and they all have superpowers. And I know there's someone in DC, I think, that is like that, but I don't remember their name.
Legion.
But it's what?
Legion.
I was like, yes. I was like, this is really cool because they like, it shows how a lot of superheroes, you know, the story of the tragedy, we learned that in school. How them managing, and it's kind of what Bunny was saying about how you become healed and you become de-empowered. You are empowering others because you learn how to heal through and navigate through what you have and manage and whatnot. A lot of superheroes, they have, you know, you can put, if you want to, I feel like there are a lot of things that I see with them and see how they manage the tragedies or their traumas. They're, you know, people constantly reliving childhood traumas and going back, and they're finding that Batman, yeah, like, you guys want, like, how can I, like, without this I can name people, but right now I'm like, but
Batman's a big one. He lost his parents. He was there, and now he out here cajillion dollars, beating people up, and then he still has flashbacks of seeing his parents gone, and the tragedies of his city, his life. You know what I mean?
That's a big part of him and what he does, that's why Batman is Batman, you know. And I was just thinking about, like, we respect, like, the culture, we've in a way, there's always been an advocate for it in superheroes or in certain characters that we identify with. So that's just what it made me think of. And also just respecting the nostalgia. You're like, this is my thing. I like to feel the little cartridges. I love to smell them. So
there's such a distinct smell. Yeah. Same thing with comic books in the back issues in their cardboard boxes and whatnot. I really want to get into a watch party tonight Dre, you gotta put me onto this free Britney situation. I'm mad. I missed the Meghan Markle thing, but on the Discord, I don't know. Were you there, Trin? Were you there, Cairo? I missed these.
No, I heard about it on the timeline all day long, and I was gonna watch it, but I decided to just share it, and I added, and whoever was able to join at that time was able to join, and I just watched it because I thought, like, I wanted to see it. Like, Trin's story that day is really what got me into it, because Black Twitter does what Black Twitter does, and I was just like, nope, I need to see it.
Let's watch some Batman and some Meghan Markle and some free Britney Spears.
Y'all
Mental
talked
health
about
watch
Batman.
party.
You talked about Batman, and it just spun my thoughts. So Batman is out here managing his mental health by breaking the kneecaps of unsuspecting bad guys all night long. What if Batman got therapy? Would he still be Batman?
Nope.
So,
if Batman went to therapy, if he really went and worked out his issues, would he still be just like snatching the lower half of people's jaw off?
here, I want to say something about this, and this is why he popped up in my mind. Actually, it just like when Goku started talking. Batman, and I've noticed this with people that I personally know too, just to kind of bring it into the real world perspective. I feel like let me back up. If he got help at the young age and everything like that, and wasn't left to just the money will take care of him, he ain't gonna be out here breaking old Joe Schmo that, try to get like a couple bucks for some dinner tonight. He's not gonna be doing that. But I feel like he's definitely old enough to know, okay, I think I need help. He's always talking about the Joker needs help. Everybody around him needs help. Harley Quinn needs help. Wasn't she a psychiatrist anyways? And who also had issues, you know what I mean? I feel like if Batman got the help he needed, he'd be like, why am I really out here jumping on people's cars? They ain't got insurance, they can't pay for this, and they're running away. Why are we doing this? You know what I mean? For real, if you think about it, he's out here destroying just normal people's lives, which is actually spreading more issues to where it continues the cycle within Gotham. Like, I don't want to live in Gotham.
He's being destructive because he's not managing his triggers in a way that is productive.
Someone says Martha, I get it. That's his trigger. His parents, trigger. Pearl's breaking, trigger. Alleyway, trigger. Bats flying at him because he ran away, trigger. I understand Batman, but
I'm afraid to say Martha. Like, Martha, how do you say Martha?
You just you pop up, like, where'd you come from? Like, don't you got some real people to fight right now? Why are you, like you said, you broke my jaw, and now what? Now I'm gonna want revenge, and I'm gonna get my homies that also got their arms broken off by you, and now we join.
Gotham City's not in the U.S. because insurance. Gotham City's in Canada.
It's in Jersey.
You can get my jaw wired back together.
Gotham's in New Jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the funny thing about Batman, they represent, each villain, including Batman, represent a mental disorder.
Right.
So
all of them, right?
Yeah, all of them, like Riddler's OCD.
Ivy too. We all know the Joker.
Just psychotic.
It's sociopath.
I did not know this. Like, my brain is like that emoji. Really?
Same thing with Winnie the Pooh. It's those are all
of them too.
Mental disorders.
Wait. What?
What?
Yeah.
Piglet, Piglet was was he wasn't schizophrenic, was he?
He was afraid of everything. He has
definitely nervous.
Yeah, he had
if you look at it, everybody
he was nervous,
paranoia.
He used to stutter.
Paranoia. I think
I think
paranoia. Oh.
Tigger had ADHD, I believe.
Yeah, he sure did. Owl, what is it when you
dyslexia?
Yes, thank you. My goodness. Wow.
Just for something about this, it was
because he would write things backwards and stuff. He was smart. He was the smartest of them, but he had some. Everybody there has something.
Yeah.
And to bring back to my point with Batman and like you said, Winnie the Pooh. Honestly, if you look at a lot of heroes, the boys, they clearly all got something going on. If you haven't watched it, it's on Amazon. It's great. I loved it.
That's a whole nother watch party day too. That's like a whew.
I'm ready to rewatch it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
But
Season 3 come out soon.
Yes, I'm waiting. 3 needs to come out.
Yep.
I asked people that have gone through or are going through their own mental I hate saying issues, but
Journey.
What was that?
Mental health journey.
Yes. Going through your mental health journey, you know, you have access to getting help. And I actually asked one of my friends, because she was just always like, I'm going through this. I'm like, here's a link. Here's people near you. This is for free. You can get the first 7, things for free. You have this insurance, right? And I was not helping, but I was giving her all the stuff. And I asked her, why won't she do it? And I told her, I was like, I know you need to do it on your own, which is a very big thing. You can't force somebody to be better. They have to do it on their own. But she said, if I get myself fixed, I am not who I am anymore. I don't know who I would be afterwards. So she clung on to her mental disability because that's all she knew. She grew up with it her whole life. And she said, if I fix that, who am I afterwards? And it was just interesting to hear her say that. So when I think of Batman, like Batman, how much money you got? You have literally, and the Justice League on top of that to help you. You know what I mean? Like you got the whole, galaxies that y'all be going to help you. Why haven't you done it yet? And I think it's because he might just be like, if I do that, I will lose who Batman is. I will lose I hear Martha and I'm out. Let's go. We punch and we uppercut and, everybody getting broken arms and legs. So that's what I see with Batman. And we're talking about how we manage ours. His is to fight, which is fine. There's a lot of MMA fighters and stuff like that. And then just even to bring it back to just celebrities that we know of. Like we said, Brittany Spears, Kanye, Lauren. We're going to go with the music industry on this because they're all part of that. We all know music is their life. Okay. We know that that's how they express themselves. And just to even say with, we'll say with Kanye, after his mom passed, nosedive. Like he wilded out. He did what he had to do. And at first people are like, oh yeah, look at him. Like I feel sorry for him, but he out here with Amber Rose having a grand old time drinking, partying. And of course people see that as, oh, that's fun because that's a celebrity. That's what he does. He's a rapper, yada, yada, yada. But clearly when you look back, like he was in dire need of some help. And then
he was engaging in somewhat reckless behavior or erratic behavior for, his previous track record.
Right. And then for him to sit here, and he says it in a lot of his lyrics, like the Grammys won't give me what I want. And like you said, affirmation. He needed that affirmation because his mom wasn't there, I guess, to give it to him as strongly as he wanted it to. Because, she passed, RIP, but he's like, I'm going hard on this. I'm putting my heart and soul into this album and y'all ain't giving me nothing for it. So you're telling me I don't matter? F everybody. It is what it is. I'm now interrupting Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? Like, Kanye, what are you doing? Beyonce is the best of all time. You're like, where did this come from? You know what I mean? It was another call for help.
I think the reason why sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think the reason why he did that, when he said Beyonce had the greatest video of all time, at some point I started to feel that he was trying to look for affirmation from that side.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they weren't telling him that. Because how you say, like Jay-Z was my big brother, but it was like, okay, are you hearing what you need to hear from him if he's your big brother? Or Is it just, okay, is that his way of just, okay, you have a problem, I'm just going to go over here and worry about me?
Where was he getting his support from, right?
Yeah, right.
If he was getting it at all.
And that's the thing, when you look at it, like, we put celebrities on such a high pedestal. They're out here with money. We all were like, we want money. They're out here with power, with fame, with exposure. We see them, we hear them all the time. We got documentaries, like you said, with Brittany Spears, Free Britney. So it's just like, your homies aren't out here helping you. Your whatever family you do have aren't out here. No, because it doesn't fit their narrative of like, if we get him help, it's not going to boost his ratings, because when he was quote unquote started going left, people were listening because they're like, what is going on? Let me hear this album. And then hearing it like, dang, he spent some stuff, or he exposing, or whatever it is, more money. Keep quote unquote crazy Kanye trending. That's Kanye being sad about his mom passing is not going to be trending when it is he out here effing this girl, effing that girl, this party, that party, crash this car, be at this, doing drugs, doing this, doing that. And then for him to get into the Kardashian family, everybody knows it. Everybody's like, you get with the Kardashians, it's over. They're going to ruin you, and that's it. But when you look at who was involved with the Kardashians, and even the Kardashians themselves, they have the biggest spotlight on them. They can't sneeze without TMZ reporting it. It will be all over the world. You show a picture of Kim, that, oh, that's Kim. Oh, that's Khloe, that's them, that's them. You know what I mean? Oh, those are the Jenners. Everybody knows who they are. So for someone, let's say like Kanye, that was already big, who has the big ego, to be now merge with that and then have the spotlight really on him. And he said it, he said, I don't want to be on the show. I don't want to be anywhere near that. You do you, that's your show. And the kids too. And then all of that just building up, I think really led to where him and Kim are divorced, because she's like, you need to get help. And I don't know if she's the first person to ever really say that to him. Like, I know my husband has mental issues, mental disabilities, or whatever it may be. He needs to get help. But he might be in that cycle of, well, this is who I am. I'm not changing. You don't love me for me. That's that. But
or maybe even people like me this way, right? Because he was looking for affirmation. And so people are not affirming get healthy Kanye. They're affirming wild out Kanye, because they're doing that thing that you guys all mentioned and benefiting from him not getting help for himself, right? They're benefiting from him staying down, and would maybe cease to have the same benefits if he was to get help. Mm-hmm. The gravy train stops when Kanye's not trending.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
he's forever typecasted. He's typecasting himself.
Right. Because he's getting the affirmation, right?
And it's just like I said, Lamar Odom too. What happened to him? He was probably dealing with a bunch of stuff. It went downhill. It went left, whatever you want to call it. And now his next relationships have to also deal with that, because he hasn't healed yet. And I noticed this, and I'm just gonna say with Lauryn Hill too. She beautiful voice, lovely songs. I love listening to her. But clearly we all can see she has something. Something is going on that isn't truly being discussed, because again, in the limelight, what's selling more? Yeah, she could come back and make an album like, all right, cool, this was nice, I'm so happy she's back, and then silence. Or Lauryn Hill's having a concert, or she's coming to a club to perform, now she didn't show up. Now she's 30 minutes late, she's 3 hours late. She only did one song and bounced. What's gonna get you more attention? And like you said, people in their corner might be like, yeah, let's keep putting her in the situation where she's not going to show up, where she is going to bounce, where she's going to break down and then sell more stories. Because people are going to now Google, start looking her up like, oh, did she cancel another show? Is my show going to get canceled? Oh, it's still on. Okay, cool. Now I can see who this quote unquote
benefiting from the buzz.
Exactly. And it really does suck when you think of it that way, because it's like they are people, they are humans just like us. We would not someone just to benefit off of me struggling, me going through the motions, going through my mental journey, but they don't see it that way because we put them so high up here that they're quote unquote gods. I've heard people call celebrities gods. They're like a god to me. Like, I worship them. Worship their mental health and getting better, please, is all I'm asking. Because if we can, I guess
it needs to be normalized.
It
needs to be normalized. It needs to be something that we can go and talk about, because the folks that we've all mentioned, the celebrities, Kanye and Britney and who's the other one?
Everybody. And
Markle.
Everybody. We talk about Meghan Markle. And I think you mentioned somebody else, Lauryn Hill. Right. You just said it. Them not being able or denied access to getting help because of how it looks, or because of how it won't sell, or because people won't be interested in you anymore. Like that's something we have to work as a society to dispel. It should be normal because we all deal with mental health. And some people, to your guys' point earlier, have been diagnosed by a doctor, and some people don't necessarily have the same experience. They're not experiencing things on the same level. But you can't tell me that while they're different, and they definitely have different ways to manage, being stressed out just about your everyday regular life without having a clinical diagnosis still needs managing. Right. Exactly. And so we on that aspect, we all deal with how we manage our mental health. Some people are experiencing different things than others, but that's not to say that we don't all have something to manage.
Right. And just to bring it up, because you guys were mentioning stuff that you guys do for your own self, or how, diagnosed or not, I'm very happy that everybody got to explain what they do in their own free time in their own home. I guess for myself, I understand the cartridges and stuff. So I'm looking, please let me get this PS5, y'all. Please. I want the disc version. I don't want the digital. And the reason is I want to go buy the actual CD. I want to get the disc. I want to unwrap the plastic, open it, look at it. Sadly, there's no books in it. It's literally just like the warning labels, like flashing lights. And you're like, you know what I mean? Right. But I want that physical. I like to look at it and be like, that's my comfort zone right there. And with Tetris, I love Tetris too. I think I have the Game Boy Advance Tetris. It's packed away now, but I have that, and I think a lot of people like Tetris too, because it gives you control to making things quote unquote perfect. And you can always restart. Yeah, you might get all the way to the top and then you have to start over, but you're like, I got it. I know this goes in this slot. I know this fits way better this way. And it helps you cope with that. So then when you go to the outside world, you're like, you might have that bad day or something might be super difficult, but you're like, I just passed level 77 on Tetris. Like, this is nothing today. And it does help a lot of people get along with their day or get over whatever might be struggling for them. And for myself, like I said, I like to hold the cases, the discs. I do miss that they don't put booklets in the cases anymore. I miss we don't have the giant booklet with all the games of the year that gives you all the hints and tips and tricks, because it did
cheat codes, the cheat code book, the magazine, PSN magazine for the cheat codes,
Infinity cheat code.
Now all we get is a flyer.
I was in like freshman year of high school. I used to put in the infinity code for driver and just like drive around the whole city. It was great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then if you guys don't know, I started playing Jack and Daxter. When I downloaded the game, and I want to say thank you to Fresh Prince Sains, because he's the one that helped me with that. It has a digital booklet. I was lit. I was more lit about this booklet being on my PlayStation than the actual game being on my PlayStation. I was like, oh, is that the booklet? Oh my gosh. And it has the front and back of what it will look like in the case. And it has the booklet, so you know how to do your moves. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome, you guys. Look at this. I can't physically hold that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could find a copy somewhere. But seeing that helped me because it also helped me remember this is how I manage what I'm going through. If I'm struggling, I have my booklet. I can just look at it and be like, oh, duh, jump is X. Go from there. Oh, circle is spin. Square is punch. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then I also feel like for myself, video games, especially a couple years ago, and Bunny knows this, and I think most of you guys do know this. If not, I was going through a very dark period a couple years ago to where I was like, I need to do something because if I don't, I'm going to spiral out of control. And that's when I was like, I'm just going to pick up Twitch again. I'm going to do it. You like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to put myself out there. We could talk about it, which is great because I know some of you guys from here, but I know some of the people from Discord have seen me on Twitch. We talk about stuff like this. And now we got more family to help talk, have a conversation about with it. And it does, video games help me get through my moments. Also, I like to play or do like riddles. Riddles are big for me in video games because it'll let me sit there and think, and I have to really sit there and think. Like Batman Arkham and the Riddler and all his riddles, I hated it because I was like, how many more do we got? But then it helped me because later down the line when I was like, how do I fix this at work? How do I fix this in my life? I'm like, this is nothing compared to the riddle I have to do to unlock a crate from across the street. You know what I mean? Like it made it easier for me to manage, I guess, like my anger or whatever I was going through at the time. And I feel like in celebrity world, they don't have that because like you got money. You shouldn't be sad. You shouldn't be having any of this. Oh, you're just faking it because you're trying to get more attention. Like, no. And then even just in the Black community or, you know, POC community, same thing. It's just like, oh, no, they're just crazy. Oh, you're just acting out. Why would I need to be acting out? I don't want to be acting out. I need help. You know what I mean? And everything does tie into stuff. And you see it with cosplayers too. They cosplay their favorite character because they relate. They lost their family. They lost their siblings. They lost whatever. The brother turned into a refrigerator. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like something happened that just got them into this like, oh, I'm failing, or oh my gosh, I need this or that. And even with Goku, and just because I looked at your name and I was like, he got something too, okay? If you think about it, he didn't have his family. He didn't have the Saiyan race with him. So now when you think about it, he's always fighting because that's what Saiyans did. This is the closest way he can get to being a Saiyan in his family, I guess, is to be fighting, to be always in tournaments and training his kids when he was around. But you know, Piccolo's there. He had a support system that was like, hey, this is what helps you get over that trauma of not having your family, being shot off when you're a baby. Fine, we ride or die, let's do it. Yamcha's like, I'll sit this out, I'm not trying to die today. But like but if you think about it, Goku had his own little discord of family in the show.
Yeah.
And just like we have our discord of family here. They all had issues, they all had problems, they all talked it out, kind of. As much as, you know, the show could do it.
They talk with their fists. Yeah,
they talk with their fists. And stuff like that. So it's just like, oh, okay, cool. You know, this is nice. It's a nice comparison. So people probably do strongly agree with Goku. Fanboys, I'm giving you a thumbs up. So I don't want you to be like, you hate him. You might be going through some things too in your life. You're like, I wish I could just punch my way out, or I could figure something out where I can't realistically go ultra instinct, but I can in my mind to where I can unlock like, oh, that's it. This is what's helping me. and then go from there. So that's just my little 2 cents. I just want to bring that up, just how it all ties in with video games, with celebrities, with triggers, with, of course, us as we are humans, you guys. It's okay to have human emotions, have feelings, not be 100%. Nobody's expected to be 100%. You can't be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, especially in the human world. It's just not a thing. You could try to come close, but a lot of people, it starts ruining up here.
It's like a video game. You might reach 100%, but that is the completion of that level. And then you go to the next level, and guess where you at?
Zero again.
You gotta start powering up.
And that's it. And then you see it. People get all the platinum trophies, the bronze, the silver, the gold, the platinum on PlayStation or Xbox or whatever it is. And you're like, I got everything. I feel good about myself. If I can do that, I can probably tackle this really bad day that I'm having right now. So
self-empowerment.
Games. Thanks for animes and comic books and mangas out there that do give us that that voice. And I do want to say thank you to the celebrities out there too, that do vocally open up and say, I am dealing with this. Just like Kai and Bunny came out here and said, this is what I have. This is what I'm managing right now. This is my journey through my mental journey. Thank you. We need to normalize it. Did anybody have like any final words or emotional? I like to say this. Any last words, emotional outbursts, any virtual hugs we need to be giving, high fives, daps, thumbs up?
A lot of those. I got a lot of those just for this space. I really want to thank Kai and Bunny for, stepping out and educating us and educating our listeners and our watchers, because you're watching this on YouTube, for helping us to understand and for giving us some insight and, spreading the word, because we have to normalize it so that it's not, it's not a tiptoey subject, so that, more people can get healthy, so that it can stop being normal.
Here's the thing, being on a mental journey is normal. Okay, it is normal. You would realize if you asked how many people are going through their own journey. It is a normal thing. Okay, it's not normal to shun and hide and get rid of it. I mean, not get rid of it, but like push them to the side where it's like, we don't want that. We don't like that around us. Please, if you are able to open up, just like we said, Bunny and Kai, again, please do. Let somebody at least hear it that you feel comfortable with, so we can be like, hey, you having a good day? Good. I saw that post. That post was lit. I love that music. I like that clip. I like that drawing. I like what you said in the watch party the other day. That was dope. We're here. We have something in common. Just help out, reach out a little bit, not too much. Don't be like me. Don't be like, okay, tell me what you need to do. I got you. Let me make a list. Okay, you need that too. Okay, I got you. Let me do it. Just ask them how they want to be helped, if they want to be helped, or if they need the ear, and stuff like that. Anything else, Goku? You had any more teacher moments for us? I'm over here learning. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
I just wanted to say, the Discord is a wonderful space. If you want a place where you can truly be yourself, honestly and genuinely, we don't care about bravado. We don't care about any of that stuff. I don't give about none of that. That song, yeah, that part. Just like with what Bun and Kai said, affirm your friends and remember to set healthy boundaries for yourself.
Yes.
And I just appreciate being in this moment, in this space with y'all, because you guys have become my family. So it's just, it's great. The heart thingy.
There we go. I got it.
Just all I say. So hugs. That's all. Yes.
All the hugs, all the high fives, all the I love yous. Like you said, Kai, you didn't get a lot of that. I love you.
Thank
You
you.
won't get them
Too.
from me.
Thank you. Appreciate
but
it.
This was great. I really, if you guys want to continue to talk about this, or you're listening to this, like, hey, I want to put my 2 cents on it, let us know. I don't mind having a whole nother
we definitely need to have a part 2.
Please, I'm down for a part 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. I just want people's voices to be heard, especially with something like this. It's not all just fun and games and comic books and stuff here. We are real people. We have real people issues and dealing with real people life. So if you want to be a part of it, you know what to do. Okay. We got Girls Can Geek on IG, on Discord as well. You can always reach out to myself, to Jig, anybody else if you feel comfortable out there, you know, DM.
Yes.
Or if you're not comfortable, just send them my way. I'll figure it out. It does not matter. Like I said, YouTube, put in the comments. We can talk there too. We have ways to talk about it. Okay. You can also leave comments on wherever you're listening. We can read those too.
Yes.
Okay. But we have ways to reach out. If you guys want to reach out, definitely do so. You don't have to. We're no pressure here.
You're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. And if you want to just come on here for like 2 minutes, be like, I have this. Okay, bye. Fine. Do it. As long as you know that we're here to support you, we got you covered. This is a really long outro and I'm sorry, but it's just important. I want to just let you guys know we're here for you. But I do want to again say thank you to Bunny. Thank you to Kai. Thank you to Goku, Dre, and of course my co-host Jiggly. Yay. For everybody being here, showing up, explaining, opening up more. You guys, we all learned something new about each other today. So it's great. Again, once again. My name is SD Trinity. This is Trin Talks. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace and love. Bye, you guys.
Bye.